Yo, what's up, guys? We up? um, I gotta work on the thumbnail for this video. My voice sounds terrible. So we got more Craig Jones. It says 2026 will return to 16-man $1 million prize pool. And you got, I guess, Craig Jones with the tattoos, and that looks like Mark Zuckerberg's hand. Whose hand is that, guys? Whose hand is that? That looks like $1 billion hand right there. um, yeah, I think CGI two with the whole quintet thing. Too many working parts, too many trials, too many personalities, and the 16-man bracket is pretty easy. Pretty easy to hit that 16-man bracket. Is it just going to be one 16-man, or is it going to be two 16-man, or is it going to be like two 8 and 8? I don't know what's going to happen, but we'll see. Um, yeah, just keeping you guys updated. You guys can see that. We're gonna read some comments. This is epic. Hopefully, there's some extra special for the women as well. Well, he did have, the super fights. You had Mackenzie Dern and Fionn. You had the first man versus woman super fight. Craig versus Gabby Garcia. That broke history. So don't forget that, Adele. Craig Jones is making history. Nikki Ross said, open weight. Confirmed that the investor is Magic Johnson. Well, that's not his hand. For some reason, I'm really hoping that's Danny DeVito. I don't know. Zuck versus Elon as a bonus super fight. Yeah, let's do that. That's that's the most Zuckerberg hand I've ever seen. Yep. I didn't read those comments first, guys. I just kind of know what's going on. Some people think T Rex were covered in feathers, so it's possible. Zuck is hairless below the eyebrows. Has to be Zuck's bookkeeper. Who's that woman's hand you're shaking, Craig? What happened to a female bracket that was promised Craig Jones? You've got $1 million for the guys, but €0 and zero opportunities for the women at their assurances that there would be if Fionn and Mackenzie agreed to fight. Well, we don't know who's going to be on the super fight, so you jumping the gun, bro. Says give it time. He just said a 16-man bracket. Didn't mention girls yet. I'm sure he will make it happen. So you can't please anybody. If you're creating content or creating anything, really, can't make anybody happy. So just do what you're gonna do, regardless. Do what you got to do. Do what you want to do. Don't worry about pleasing everybody. I got a sexist comment there. Let's not jump straight to the conclusion. This is just the first announcement. Yes, we fans want a women's division as well. Women draw almost. Don't say that. Oh, someone says this. For those saying I'm jumping the gun, unless there's been a sudden change of heart, I know from a number of high-level female athletes who have spoken to Craig Jones directly, there is no bracket, with the current excuse being there isn't funding for it. Craig went from grappler to CEO and worried about funding. So, um, that's the life he's living. He's got a lot of moving parts, got a lot of people to please and people upset. um, it says seems like there's plenty of funding for the blokes though. Always the same. Well, Craig, the internet remembers everything basically, especially when you're that popular. I say some stuff. Maybe I get a couple patrols or something, but I'm okay usually. Knock on wood. Um, let's see. Yeah, well, the female grapplers are exciting. I don't know what you're talking about. Girls like Adele, Fionn, uh, Bia Bacillo, some of the other girls. Man, a lot of the girls are pretty exciting, bro. They be going for the kill. Let's see. We're gonna look at the Reddit post too. So we'll see what's going on. I know Zuckerberg's hand when I see it. The most Googled hand today. So yeah, big news. So I guess we'll see how this one's going. I already knew the complexity was going to be up higher, just more people. So I think it's easier to do the tournament format, the 16-man bracket. He's like, man, that last one was easy. You don't have to worry about teams or coaches or wild cards or anything like that. You got the athletes there, hotel room, boom, they ready. Let them do their own training. You don't have to, set anything else up for them. Um, can't be J Rod since his hand is busy. Oh, that's a good one. That was a great one, actually. Good job. That was a good one. Uh, what was that? Well, so they had the European trials. I don't know if we can see anything. I can't play that music, bro. This is a pretty famous German MMA fighter. Ooh, we're gonna look at this later, but yeah, they had the guys on the couch over there. You guys love this stuff. You love the chaos. That's what you guys love that stuff. You guys love it, and that's what you guys want to see. Um, and a few other guys that were competing for the tournament. Oh, Charles Monte made it. Owen Jones. Okay. Well, I guess these guys were they already on the team, and the other two had to. Ardilla, and he's not even European. So yeah, we'll see what's going on. Is that the European team? I fought a homeboy here before, trained with Ardilla. Owen Jones. I think he's supposed to move to Atlanta or something too. There's Craig over there and drinking a beer. That's the peak level of jiu-jitsu right there, dude. Australia dude drinking beers and live streaming tournaments. What's going on here? This Polish dude, Polish power. Yo, Polish. Shout out to my Polish people. Uh, so the Nogi world's a little bit crazier. They're over here drinking beer, running into the couches. Uh, so you kind of see the cultural divide. Even you look at IBJJF's a little bit more professional. I think we got some clips more professional. Talking about the history, celebrating the fighters. A little bit more controlled. You got a little bit more older influence. The Nogi, it's just wild, wild west. Dudes doing whatever they want to do. Um, it's different. It's different. So we got, I'm about to say Lovato. We got Sanji Hibero. He's doing the Masters North American, which is a tournament that they have before the World Championships. Yeah, so that's pretty good tournament. Little warm up for some guys in the Masters. I believe Rosinski did it one year. He did the Masters North American, and then he did the World Championships. It's in the same venue, just a couple days before. So Sanji's here signed up for Masters 3 male black heavy. So if you're in that weight class, good luck. If you're in that age category, good luck. It says, hey guys, after ending my cycle at the World Championship scenario, I'm back at the Pyramid, very happy and grateful to be able to do what I love in such a special place like this. I'll be competing at the Temple this Wednesday. That must be a translation. Oh, he did say Temple. Pyramid, not a temple, bro. Don't put us in no temple, bro. I ain't worshiping at no pyramid like that. This Wednesday for the IBJF Masters North American. Watch it. So yeah, the Masters, man. A lot of these guys, Masters 3 is like, I believe 40 and up. So a lot of these guys still competing. If they got the health. A lot of these guys ain't gonna make it to Masters. I'm sorry. The way these guys they live in their life, they ain't gonna make it to the Masters division. Gordon ain't gonna make it to the Master division. Uh, Evan just messaged me. I messaged him back. We got another jiu-jitsu school, Santo Studio. So this is probably one of the most aesthetic schools, and I normally don't like dark themed schools. I don't like when they have the black mats. and the black ceiling. But this school seems pretty cool. That kind of rhymed. The only downside is filming in these kind of locations. It's really tough. So if you're filming, I'll be honest, the gray and white does really well. Gray and blue, gray, the light gray or white always does really well with filming because it's really hard when you're filming. The camera hates that the black color. No offense, I'm not to be racist or anything. It just starts you know I forget what that's called when you see the black it just doesn't look right. It's pause on that too. It's just with the camera technology, it starts to look a little pixelated. A lot of artifacts in the black when you're trying to film. There's no lighting, so it's gonna be hard to. You ain't gonna see me out there, man. I need light. I need light on me with my skin texture, skin tone. So this is a new school. They got a few people. They're kind of affiliated with Checkmat, Leo Vieta, and also Jackson. The necklace. It says daily classes for beginners to professionals competing and led by head coach, plus pro practices. So they got people like Buchecha, Jansen Gomez, some other Luke Rockhold, Mighty Mouse, T.J. Dillashaw, but going to be coming through. And they said you're going to have 24/7 access to strength and conditioning gym located inside the Santos Performance Studio. So pretty cool. Membership is limited though, so can I get that in closer for you guys to see? Pretty cool setup here. I like it. I don't know how to move this over without. Oh, maybe that works. Let's see. So cool aesthetic. Black and white. You got some of the coaches here. You got see Leo Vieta, Buchecha, Jansen. That guy. I think he's a fighter. I don't remember his name. Let me see. Give me 1 second, guys. Yeah, so we got a pretty decent lineup over here. They got some man. Oh, look at that metal. Oh, I like that. I don't know if that's metal or is it glass. Looks like stainless steel. That's kind of cool. So that brings some lighting into the. I can already tell. Look at the mats here. You see how it's kind of scraped up. That ain't good. You just got the mats. They're already scraped up. So really nice warehouse studio. It must have cost a lot of money to paint that, huh? Yeah, to paint that building, that costs money, guys. That ain't cheap. Yeah, how many coats of black you gotta hit that with? Yeah. So we'll see how long that lasts. So yeah, dark mats, but the mats already look scraped up. How's a brand new school looking scraped up already? So they going for an aesthetic, but I think the aesthetics already looks raggedy. We got some more news. Kingsway Jiu Jitsu. That's Gordon Ryan's new gym. Not a fan of the name. This is from Seth Daniels. Says, congrats to the greatest grappler of all time, Gordon Ryan. Seth, what are you doing, bro? Why are you glazing my man over here? On the opening of his first academy, this is going to be one of the biggest and best academies in the world. Well, who knows? So you kind of see their schedule. They got beginners, advanced, pro, kids, teens, beginners, advanced. So it looks that looks pretty cookie cutter schedule. The only thing different is the pro training. Yeah, they're probably gonna edit that schedule, but that's almost too many pro trainings. If you got Monday through Friday, you got 2 pro trainings every day. What is that? 10 classes. Saturday, 11. Sunday, 12. 12. Say it's an hour. How long is the classes? I don't know. Let's say 12 classes, possibly 12 hours a week, up to 24 if it's 2 hours. That might be overkill for the pro classes. I could be wrong. I don't know. That's their schedule. Let them do what they want to do. I don't care. Seth and Gordon. We talked a little bit about this King's Kimono gi that they did with IBJF, so we're gonna click on the video. Hopefully, there's no music.
First approached us to do a call.
I can't play that music, bro. I'm trying to get monetized over here. That music be demonetizing me. So yeah, I guess this is Kings talking about the collab. I mean, it's a gi, bro. I don't know what else to say. It's a gi with the IBJF logo on it. Not the biggest fan of the new cut of the King's kimono. I'm sponsored by Inverted Gear. Check out Inverted Gear. But I'm not the biggest fan of their new cut. So this one looks okay. I like the blue for this one, not so much the white. So we'll see if anybody's rocking it. King's sponsors a lot of people, so I'm sure somebody be rocking it. Tynan or somebody, Jansen or somebody like that. So we'll see. It says behind the collab, built for the mats and made to last, featuring a sturdy collar, premium construction, and full compliance with the latest IBJJF uniform regulations. This gi will be released on May 27th, so right there at Worlds, at the IBJJFshop.com, and will also be available at the IBJJF shop during the World Championships. So we'll see if anybody wants to wear this. The only issue is, I don't want to. I don't want to wear the IBJJF gi. I want to wear my Panda gi. Where's the Panda Inverted Gear collab with IBJJF? So I don't know if it'll be a good idea. I don't know if it's going to hit. So we'll see. You guys can spend your money on that. I got to go in a little bit. You guys know I'll be rushing. So same post we looked at earlier. Again, CGI says 2026 will return to the 16-man $1 million prize pool. Awesome. Again, guys, you got to pay taxes on that. 20 to 30%, maybe 35%. So you're not really taking home $1 million. You're taking home a decent, 6 figures, but you're not taking 7 figures home. Maybe I can get famous and string together 4 days in a row, like for a year, and get my ticket to greatness. Says we'll be the same weekend as ADCC again. I doubt it, because ADCC won't be in the U.S., so there's no point in hijacking people who are already going to that. Where's ADCC going? Is ADCC moving? Well, if you guys didn't know, ADCC was always supposed to move to a different location every time, but the last couple years they've been set in the USA, and then specifically they've been kind of stuck in Vegas. Mo said on Discord months ago that they're hitting the road again. Around the same time he bowed out, but anything can happen. Is Mo still in charge of stuff? I wonder how they'll do qualifiers now that they have more time to organize. It says, where TF are the women tournament matches? Plenty of women to do 2 divisions too. So they want to see the women. Where are the women? Where the women at? Is this updated? Yeah, they want to see where the women are. That's pretty cool. Our sport is kind of growing to where we're like, where are the ladies at? So we'll see. 2026 is a year away, so they got some time. Hopefully Craig Jones lives that long, lives into 2026. So talking about Craig Jones, we got the European Craig Jones Invitational tournament here. So pretty wild. Is this the jiu-jitsu you guys want to see? No technique, just insanity. That's the jiu-jitsu you guys want to see. You guys don't want to see like Marcelo Garcia or anybody good anymore. You want to see this crap. Hey, yo, they want to come after me, bro. I'll fight any of you guys. Spamming the same pass on one side with a few opposite side foot grabs sprinkled in the mix. Peak blue belt dilemma. This is the jiu-jitsu that we're getting now. This is the ecological jiu-jitsu that's, I don't want to drill. I want to be famous without being good. This is the jiu-jitsu that we're getting nowadays. I want attention. People nowadays want attention. The old school guys, we didn't get any attention, so it didn't matter. There was no social media. We didn't care about attention. I want to be good. That's all we cared about. Strength is skill, speed is skill, spaz is skill. Average roll with a white belt who wrestled in high school. Wait a minute, this wasn't a skit. Um, this is how Reddit thinks the Rotullo brothers roll. The Rotullos do that. They do that, but with technique and actually beating people. Is this AI? I don't know. Did J Rod create that? No, I'm joking. Don't come after me, J Rod. It was a joke. Um, yeah. So this was live streamed via Craig Jones. This is the jiu-jitsu you guys want to see. You want to see guys drinking and spazzing. You guys don't want to see good jiu-jitsu anymore, and I understand that. I guess we had to go to the gi for the good jiu-jitsu nowadays. Um, that guy sucks at jiu-jitsu. That's the current meta. Here's another post about the same thing. It says, "Am I the only one thinking matches ending up in the crowd at CJI Europe looked absolutely awful?" Well, you can blame ADCC for all this kind of behavior. You guys love ADCC um, for allowing this stuff to continue. It says, I could see a lot of Instagram accounts showing it as something great, but to me, it's actually looked awful. Guys almost hitting clothes hanger on the wall, just running into the crowd looked ridiculous in my opinion. Yep, it's embarrassing and galaxy tier cringe. Even the apes over in MMA have the common sense to keep the action contained within the octagon. Sadly, it's gonna take someone cracking their skull on the cement and litigate. Well, that's already been happening, and litigating the sponsors into the abyss for promoters to finally read the room. Well, if Mo takes the tournament to somewhere else outside America, you can't sue. Good luck suing in some of these other countries. They're gonna laugh you out of there. All about that mat rat culture that people were enamored with when Daisy Fresh popped out. The trials were for the athletes and not for the audience. Honestly, the whole thing looked garbage. This is the jiu-jitsu that you guys are supporting. You guys are. I'm not saying the gi is the best, but it's contained. Usually, it's pretty contained. You don't see nobody pulling out a knife. That's the ADCC. Actually, you might see somebody get punched, sucker punched though. That's true. Honestly, the whole thing looked garbage. Potato quality stream. Well, it's on a phone, bro. What do you expect? Bean bags lining tiny mats, pouring alcohol from the balcony onto the winners. Well, this is what Craig Jones is. Craig Jones gonna do whatever you guys want him to do. So it's all about what you guys are following and what you guys want to see. The lowest common denominator is running jiu-jitsu at this point. And marketing to the lowest common denominator is what's working too. It's one of the worst parts about the sport at the moment. It's funny how all the other grappling sports have flat surfaces without issue, but BJJ doesn't. Jiu-Jitsu is just trying to do all this crazy stuff. um, that's why I think USA Grappling. I'm not sponsored by them. I owe them some money for my background check. But I like what they're doing. No crazy marketing, not partnering with Craig Jones, no crazy mats, just real federation, not a fake federation that takes your money and put nothing back into the sport. So I definitely want to start pushing everybody towards USA Grappling. Um, right now they don't have a gi division that I know of. They have more no gi, but a little bit more just professional. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for professional. Who's professional? You got like World Pro. They got their professional thing, but that's over there in UAE. I'm saying here in America. Who's professional in America? Jiu-Jitsu World League seems to be pretty professional. IBJF is professional, but it's not a real federation. Um, Nobody else really professional I can think of. Might be a one-off thing that's God knows what the rules are or how they score stuff. But I think USA Grappling's I think that's going to be the move. It was truly awful. People throwing beers on the mats. And I was in Europe. Imagine America. Fights not having proper mat space, etc. Big letdown, especially when you compete. You compare it to the Australian trials ran by Giles a few weeks back. Well, Giles is a little bit older. What we're seeing is a lack of the mature people kind of. I'm not saying we got to step in, but being like, hey, guys, calm down and get the beer off the mat, guys. Why are you drinking and grappling at the same time? You need some old heads, bro. I'm an old head. You need people like me to keep the young guys a little bit more tame. No old heads, stuff goes crazy. Even people like Mo, they don't care. They just let stuff, whatever to be cool, they're gonna let fly. But you see Giles kind of things more contained, right? He's like, all right, we're gonna make the mat. We're gonna have the wall. We're gonna give some money. We're gonna film this properly. You need the proper people in place. They needed to rein in the whole off the mats continuation after everyone at ADCC trial started doing it on purpose. Again, again, you need people with some common sense. You need some of the old guys like, man, listen, this is a liability. No, guys, keep it on the mats. But you guys support all these people. I report on them just so I could talk a little bit of crap, a little bit. The pit was supposed to make CGI superior to ADCC style off the mat grappling, but whatever, beef's over. Let them play. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of that kind of crazy stuff. I'm not a big fan of it. You guys love it though, so it is what it is. We got Liz Clave showing some techniques. I can't play that music. So I guess they're rolling a little bit. Shout out to Trey. You guys see? Oh, let me switch it off. Yeah.
I got more flexibility in this ankle. Never mind.
So Liz coming off a win in Brazil.
Oh, yeah,
Brasileiro champion right here. I believe she's the first female American to win in Brazil like that, black belt. I don't know if she's doing the Worlds. Is she doing Worlds? It's a nice little roll. Some of you guys can't even roll slow. You guys be crazy. You be rolling like the CJI people. Like the ADCC people. Some of you guys can't flow roll for your life. Little matrix. I don't know if she should have done that though. Giving up her back. Okay, she switched out. She did something similar against Helena, but it didn't work against Helena. Helena was ready for her. Nice little roll, What technique she showing us though?
Knee here.
Yeah.
I pull here because I like to hit this sweep here. So whether I have the sleeve or not, it's not really crazy important, but I just keep it so you don't post. And I'm just gonna wrap here, but I don't want to go super deep. If I go super deep, by the time you fall, there's no actual straight ankle lock. So I'm just shallow holding, push, and kick. And from here, as you're falling, this foot's gonna stay, but I want to scoot my hip in. And if you notice my knee here,
She's doing
I
knee
push
on the
it. That helps
inside.
to push your foot
I haven't
out
seen that
a
variation.
little bit too, so that it's not too deep back here. If I stay too deep on this, I'm not gonna
Almost
get the
like
ankle
Kyle
up.
Terra, but the
So
legs
I
on
push, and that's gonna help extend it, and I'll bring my hand back.
on the
And I can
inside
either
instead of
grip
outside.
over, or I can grip my own forearm and grab here. If I have a hard time with the knee turning in, this can help. And then
Okay.
from here, just pick my hip up.
Shout out to
on
her,
my
man. She
shoulder,
had that
and I
kid,
extend.
and she bounced back. And
Nice.
shout out to all the
All right, can
the
you say that
lady
one more time? So
grapplers, high
you're
level
like, you're
grapplers that
keeping basically
have bounced
this
back
part of
after
your hand,
having
like-
their
I want to be
babies.
super, super shallow.
Yeah.
So a mistake a lot of people make, and you can still get the straight foot lock, but it's less finessey.
Gotcha.
Okay, so it's better if it's like right here. Think where you would like wear a watch, kind of, versus if it's up here, because all this squishes.
Okay.
So it's harder to adjust it too. So I like to grab and then have the sleeve. Either sleeve doesn't really matter. And then I'm gonna switch my foot as I circle this in. So here.
So she could go
And
to
I'll
X
come
guard
in
or single
with
leg
just
X
my
if she
shin
wanted
holding.
to.
And then once I kick in, that's when I'm gonna go for the sweep. And I'll wrap a little bit more. So I kick.
There's the baby
and
right
wrap
there.
Here. As you're falling,
that baby,
I wanna make sure that
that baby gonna be better than all of
hip
us.
in, and
That
my
baby
knee's
been
gonna
on the
come
mat
over your knee, and that's gonna help
since it came out the
push
womb.
it out, and then I'm gonna bring my knee down to help control your knee and to bring this back more shallow. So I can either go like, so move my hip back so you can see. I can either go hand over hand here,
I like that collar.
or I can grab my own wrist and grab here. Just try to turn your own forearm because you don't want it totally flat. Here.
And I like the knee on the inside detail. I've never seen that one before.
So I'm hooking.
And you're like really heavy with this. Like
I have to go do that with some blue
pinning
belts,
my
Yeah,
knee.
white
because I
belts
want to pin
today.
it, and also
or
you
tomorrow.
can't shove it back down to
Yeah,
get
I
extra
can't really
space because
move.
I'm on it and I can push here.
That baby
so then it
crying.
gets shallow, and then I just go forward.
That baby, you want
So
his
I have a
mommy.
notoriously bad straight ankle lock, you know.
Yeah.
But I feel like one thing I noticed that you're doing, if
Yeah.
I could come try this a little bit, you might have to talk
That
through it.
baby crying.
So start.
Let me go ahead and stop
Delahiva.
the video.
Delahiva here.
You know, baby gonna cry, which I normally don't care about, but I don't want to listen to it right now. We got Oliver Geddes. Hopefully we're cool with this. Don't define yourself too early. Ooh, that music.
My name's Oli Geddes. I'm a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt
Hopefully that
under
music doesn't
Roger
get hit.
Gracie. I started training towards the end of 2005, so I've been training about 9 years, and I've been a black belt for about 2.5, pretty much. That's kind of me. My dad has a habit of saying that I'm a cage fighter because he finds that gets better reactions out of people. I am a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu instructor, I suppose. And when they go like, "What is that?" then the next thing is, it's kind of like judo but on the ground. And then the next question is, "Will you be in the Olympics?" And then the answer is no. And then they stop talking. That's pretty much how it goes. Slightly long story, but originally I started off because back when I was starting out, like 2005, 2006, there weren't that many really. There wasn't that much instructional material out there, relatively speaking. I mean, there was the big video sets, there was a few from back then, but there wasn't. Basically, the first thing I came across that really tried to teach a game was Eddie Bravo's Mastering the Rubber Guard book, which. Again, it just gave you a kind of this happens and then this happens. It gave it a whole structure and it gave a reasoning behind the whole thing from there. And so, and I mean, it's the same reasons. It's, you know, when you're starting out, you're not that good at the open guard, so they get past. You know, I didn't have very good grips, so I didn't play very good spider, so I ended up in half guard a lot. And then he had like a whole section in the book where he went, you know, and then how did I find time from there? And you start with the lockdown, and basically it was a position that you could. I like the fact you could get there from anywhere in one step. You didn't have to get back out into open guard. You know, if you're in mount, you can go to half guard. If someone has your back, you can go to half guard. It's a very attainable position. Is it as strong as some of the others? Perhaps not. But if you can make your weakest position your strongest position, then that's kind of what went from there. So it taught just a basic set of things, and then I've kind of added things to it since then. But it gave me a starting structure at a time when, you know, there's lots of techniques, but I didn't know how they all fit together. Now there's a lot better sort of game-based instructionals out there where you see things from there. But at the time, it was kind of, these are the techniques of jiu-jitsu, there you go, you know, and so it was the first one I felt that really came as a system. I mean, I didn't use the rubber guard stuff as much because I'm not as flexible as all that, but there was a whole half guard section on there, which I liked.
He's pretty flexible, guys. I've seen him do some rubber guard. He was pretty flexible.
It's difficult. I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there now. There's a few sort of. I mean, there's a whole lot of content out there. It's very, very difficult to decide what is good and what isn't. But I mean, the generally accepted sort of, you know, things that everyone should cover. You've got Salo's Jiu-Jitsu University book, which is seen as just like the baseline Bible for these kind of things. Anything Ryan Hall has ever released that needs to be watched is just the reality of it. That sounds really simple, but and then in addition to that, I'd probably add Caio Terra's stuff, and then you have all the other the people throw around Damien Meyer sets, stuff like that. But I mean, I like I'd say the Ryan Hall stuff and Salo's book should be required.
It's all good
Starting
suggestions,
points,
guys.
because again, that will teach you concepts. It's not just going to teach you techniques. And okay, you have to be ready for a lot of sitting down and watching things, but you know, sometimes that's a good thing. Finding your own style. I think the problem isn't so much. The problem is that people define themselves as a style too early. Is the bigger thing from that point there. I'm not sure how true this story is, but something I heard a while ago was that Lucas Leite is like the most famous traditional half guard player, was apparently a spider guard player until purple. So I heard. I'm not sure how true that is, but and then he changed it up, and then became a black belt half guard player. Sometimes it just goes that way. So I think lots of guys go, well, I'm a blue belt and I play half guard, and that's what I do. And then they go, well, there's no point learning spider guard because I'm never going to be there because I do half guard. And yeah, I mean, at the very least, I think it's very important that you have your bottom game, whatever it is, and also the other thing is you have to be aware that you don't want to have a guard that has no sweeping elements to it. Again, you can have a fantastic triangle and all this kind of stuff from there, but again, if you're able to get to purple without ever having to go on top, again, my thing that was weird for me was because I had a submission-based half guard, which meant that I didn't have to get good at anything else from there. I didn't have to learn how to pass guard or anything else. I was like, if I'm on bottom, I'll submit the person, and that's great. But when it comes down to, again, if you've got a great close guard, you'll learn more from pulling guard, sweeping, passing, and finishing. Then it's a whole different set of elements as opposed to, well, I'm going to pull here, wait till you make a mistake, and then I'm going to tap you. Then we're going to start again, and I'm going to pull and do it again. And so I think it's difficult to. I think I mean, good training, if you can get into philosophy of it, is you start, you pull guard, you sweep, or you start from standing, you take down, and then if you end up past the guard, you go back into the guard and you pass it, because that way you're learning 4 or 5 different skills per sequence, as opposed to one skill, which is how to submit people from guard, which is nice, but again, you'll learn more that way overall. But in general, I think don't limit yourself and define yourself from where, because again, there's a lot of transitions and things that suddenly you can get to from what you think you're good at, but you never explored that route, you didn't see how they all fit together. So, there's a lot of things I'm not that good at, but understanding how it all fits together is important. So learn everything and don't define yourself as one thing too early. I did that. I mean, I've defined myself and I've been defined, but, there's more than half guard from there and how you transition to other things.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
It's difficult sometimes because, again, it's you have to be aware that technique is valid at black belt level, but at the same time, if it's something that people aren't actually doing, you have to believe in it and then try it when you're not sure if it's going to work yet, unfortunately. But generally, it's just a case of try it in the academy. If it works consistently on brown belts and brown belts and above, then it's worth a try, at least from that point there. I mean. Yes, I've been trying to evolve the game, but the problem always comes when it's difficult, particularly when particularly for me, when I end up fighting some of the guys who are absolutely the best in the world. You can't use something that's slightly worse than your A game because you don't get a chance. So
That's
both
true.
Instinctively, because your body just puts you back to what you're best at, and just because you have to play your best game because you don't have anything else to compete with on that level. So yeah, I mean, you have to have the transitions there, but a good example is I fought Lucas Lepre at the World Championships and he beat me up pretty badly because he's one of the best half guard passers in the sport and everything else. And then he fought some other people who they did better against him because they had a guard outside the half guard, whereas I'm pulling him straight into what he's best at, which is also what I'm best at. And so, yeah, I mean, there are other options beyond that, but again, he's exceptionally good at forcing it even on world-class guys. So for me, when it's naturally what my body wants to do anyway, it makes it difficult to really work from there. But basically, it's just, you just have to just ease it in over time. You have to decide what you have to try the techniques, and if it works consistently in training, it will work in competition, unless you're training with guys who are all much worse than you. But, sometimes the opportunity is not always there, but I've always been very, very confident in my techniques and how I approach things from there. So, even when, again, people say don't do half guard, don't do this, whatever, I've always gone, well, I see it can work. I've seen guys do it at a high level, and I've done it in training, so why shouldn't I be able to do it? So I've always been very, I suppose the word would be stubborn about that kind of thing, So I have had matches sometimes where I've allowed, I've basically gone, okay, the guy's passed my guard, but it's okay, I'll submit him from here, and then spent 5 minutes under side control trying to submit the guy, just to prove that I can, and then sometimes you lose, but once you can do it reliably from a bad position, then it's something else. It's another element that someone has to be aware of, and again, you just have to just slowly spider out into new areas of the game and get better at certain things. It's not easy, to try and do something that's not standard, but at the same time, people don't expect it. It goes from there. There's a difference between a novelty technique that when someone has seen it, they can't be caught by it, and something that's mechanically strong, and if it's still working in training when people know that you're going to do it, then it's probably going to work in competition. Is a bit. If people start sitting competition in training and it stops working, then either you need to get better at it or you need to do something else.
And music, bro. All right, guys, that's it. Just a little quick video. Make myself big. Little quick video. Yeah, I think CGI. We'll see what happens with the CGI. Yeah, I mean, you guys like that stuff. I don't really care, but I cover it because you guys want to see it. It's kind of cool to know what's going on. You know, I'll be following a lot of this stuff anyway, so should be live during the week. And as always, guys, if you want to support the channel, Inverted Gear, buy some apparel, or if you need some training, BJ Mental Models, or you don't want to do any of that stuff, listen, you can donate money right through the channel now. We got some monetization. So that's good. That's kind of a cool thing to have. It took a while to get that. And if you ain't got no money, listen, just like the video and tell people. Word of mouth. We old school over here. Word of mouth. Tell people, hey, we got a new show, jiu-jitsu show, where Ali talks crap. I'm gonna try to get some people on here. We'll see. Maybe I'll get Jeff on here. Maybe some other people on here. We'll see. All right, guys. Until next time. Peace out. And bye. Bye-bye, guys. Stay out of trouble.